Shri Tripura Rahasyam MahatmyaKhandam, Chapter 27. O Himavan, listen to the story containing the deeds of Gauri. Long ago, in the Rathantara Kalpa, the great demon Tarakeya propitiated through penance the three-eyed Mahadeva and got many boons and extremely harassed the world. Shiva granted him the powers of creation, protection, and destruction. He was able to seize immediately the valor of the opponent. Arrogant with such boons, that strong demon created many worlds along with Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Indra, and other gods, and became their overlord. Brahma and others created by him worshipped him. He became the lord of sacrifices in his creation. He created his own Vedas and varieties of knowledge. Then the demon Tarakeya, going to Brahma and others, said thus, "Let all the gods worship me and recite my Vedas. I am the God and Lord of all. All of you should bow to me always." Hearing his words, which the gods did not accept it, he conquered, captured, and imprisoned them in his universe. Then he bound the Adityas, the Vasus, the Rudras, the Ashwins, and the Maruts, and imprisoned them. Then he proceeded to destroy Brahma and others. Seeing the demon coming to capture them, Brahma and others, along with their retinue, started to battle, and after a long fight, realizing his invincibility because of the boon, disappeared. After Brahma and others disappeared, the great demon created alternative Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva and positioned them. He created Indra and other gods and placed them in heaven and became the universal Lord, being worshipped by all of them. After a long time, while Tarakeya was surveying the worlds, he saw Saci Devi in the heaven and was infatuated with her beauty. He ordered his servant by name Nishatha to bring Saci Devi. The messenger went and bowed to Saci and gave her the message of his lord thus, "O Indrani, sent by Tarakeya, I have come here. The Lord of the universe and the Lord of the demons conveys to you thus, O lady, with pure bright smile, come soon with love to me, and enjoy universal sovereignty by marrying me. Thus honored, I will become obedient to you. If not, you will lose your dignity, being dragged here forcibly." Listening to the messenger, Saci got worried and thought thus, "What shall I do? Presently there is no one to protect me. Indra, Jayanta, and other gods have been captured and moved far away. I have no news about them. I have none to save me. I shall, for the time being, keep away the demon king by a clever strategy. In times of danger, the weak, with all effort and intelligence, will be happy by putting off the event even halfway. By gaining more time, I will realize myself from the situation." Thus, Deciding thus, Saci said to the messenger, "O servant, listen, give my message to Tarakeya. Lord Vishnu is the supreme god. His wife, Sri Laksmi, is charming. We are her maids. It is appropriate that you take her, and then we will all be your maids uninvoked." Of this proposal by Saci, the messenger humbly informed Tarakeya. Hearing that, the demon Tarakeya felt that to be true and sent the messenger to Sri Lakshmi. Going to Vaikuntha, the messenger submitted to Lakshmi the message of the demon. Hearing that, Lakshmi contemptuously said thus, O messenger, it is not good for the wicked Tarakeya to desire me. By this he is requesting self-destruction. Get out soon from here. Thus expelled, the messenger went and reported to the Lord of Demons. Hearing the denial by Lakshmi, the furious Tarakeya seized the dwelling of Lakshmi with his army. Then Lakshmi set out along with her 100 crores of Shaktis and quickly destroyed the army of the demons. Seeing the great prowess of Lakshmi, the mighty Tarakeya, an expert in handling weapons and missiles, battled himself with her. The war between them, which was as if Vishnu is fighting with Shankara, created fear in the universe. Their war continued for 5 years. The demon used to create afresh his army that was being destroyed by Lakshmi. He was thus again and again creating his lost army and continuing the battle. Then Lakshmi, understanding the heroic demon as invincible, thus then Lakshmi, understanding the heroic demon as invincible, remembered her husband Vishnu, the supreme being. Then the glorious Narayana, who was glowing like many simultaneous suns as at deluge, seated on Garuda and followed by his servants, appeared in the battlefield. He saw Lakshmi, tired and dull, and with great anger fought with all his might with the king of the demons. Then the powerful demon immediately turned into 2 forms and fought with both Lakshmi and Vishnu simultaneously. Then the angry Vishnu discharged the unfailing Sudarshana disc to kill the demon. That disc burnt the demon just as a fire burns a house. Then the mighty demon who was battling with Lakshmi created another demon who again fought an extremely fierce war with Vishnu. Thus the demon who was being destroyed again and again was creating himself out of his self and fighting. Then, seeing the demon unconquerable because of the boon from Maheshwara, Vishnu along with Lakshmi disappeared from the battlefield. Then the lord of the demons, thinking that Lakshmi and Vishnu were defeated, went back to his palace along with his retinue. Later Saci, getting the news from a Gandharva about the defeat of Lakshmi and Vishnu, remembered Brihaspati, the Guru. Just by her remembrance, Guru came to Saci. Seeing him, the pitiable Saci stood up and bowed to him with devotion and worshipped him, and with tears in her eyes said thus, O Guru, troubled by the king of the demons, I am in distress. My husband Indra, along with other gods, has been captured by him. Now he desires to have my company. The messenger sent by him has been cleverly returned. Lakshmi and Narayana are defeated in the war. He will come today or tomorrow to take me away. What shall I do? Where shall I go? There is no one to take care of me. O Angirasa, O Guru, helplessly I am surrendering to you. Save me today. Hearing the lamentation of Indrani, the compassionate Brihaspati, after probing intellectually, said to Saci thus, O Pulomaja, listen to my words suitable to the situation. By the boon obtained from Mahadeva, this demon will vanquish everyone. There is no one in this world and elsewhere who can defeat him. Except by Gauri, he is invincible by woman. His powerful messenger will soon come to take you. Hence, you start immediately worshipping Gauri for a month. Saying thus, the Guru returned and Saci started to propitiate Gauri, the Parameshwari. She made an earthen auspicious idol of Gauri, who was seated on the lion, who wielded in her four arms the sword, the shield, the trident, and the club, who had three eyes, whose head was decorated with the moon, who was dark blue in color, and was well bejeweled. After worshipping her in the prescribed manner and offering varieties of eatables, she recited the prayer of 108 names that was taught by the Guru and got absorbed in the repetition of the mantra. Subsequently, the demon thought of Saci and, overpowered by passion, went to the heaven along with his servant. There, staying at the Nandanavana, the heavenly garden, he sent quickly his messenger to Saci. Reaching Saci, the messenger bowed to her and said thus, O brilliant one, the lord of the demons is at the Nandanavana and is looking beautiful like the spring season covered by flower blossoms. Desirous of seeing you, he is immersed in your thought. I have been sent to take you to him. O lovely eyed one, come and soon join the king of demons, who is the lord of 100 universes, and become his queen. Many Brahmas, Vishnus, and others, along with their wives, will serve you. The Lakshmi mentioned by you earlier was defeated along with Janardana, and they have fled with fear from their abode. It is your fortunate time, being desired by the king of demons. Hearing the messenger, the eloquent queen of Indra, mentally reproaching the demon, said thus, O messenger, listen. For a long time I was also having the same desire of the king of demons, of wanting me. I think this is the opportune time, fructifying my desire, and indeed the king of demons should be my new husband. For that I have undertaken an observance for 30 days, which will be auspicious for the new husband. Soon after the completion of the vow, I will go and join the king of demons. If the observance goes through without obstacles, I will never be separated from the husband. If the vow breaks, then immediately my husband will die. Hence, by the completion of the observance, I will never face separation from my husband. So, go and inform the king to excuse me for just a month. Hearing Saci, the messenger reported the matter to the king, who on hearing the same was happy and waited for that time. The devout Indrani, meditating incessantly on the lotus feet of Gauri, with strict control on senses, food, activities, and speech, was sustaining herself on air for food. After 28 days, on the 29th night, Saci thought thus, till today Devi Gauri is not pleased with me. Till today Devi Gauri is not pleased with me. After one more day, I will be under the control of the king of demons. This looks impossible for me. What should I do to be happy? As of now, I know no plan. I am in danger. Surrendering myself to the demon is never praiseworthy. Therefore, I will wait for one more day with patience for protection from Gauri. On the morning of the next day, I will offer my body to Gauri through the fire. Deciding thus, Saci prepared a huge altar in her house near to the idol of the Devi. One of the messengers of the demon inquired Saci about the fire altar. She replied thus: "The vow of 30 days will be completed, and tomorrow morning I will accompany the king of demons. Go and inform this to him, and let him come here next morning, well prepared and well dressed, to take me with him." The messenger, taking the words of Saci to be true, reported to Tarakeya, who happily awaited that moment. Then Sachi completed her great worship to the Devi by offering auspicious materials and filled the altar with wood and lighted the fire ablaze. Meditating with devotion on Gauri, she circumambulated the fire with the intention of offering her body and bowed with folded hands to Shankari and prayed thus: "Salutations to you, the great Devi, the consort of Shiva. I am offering this body to you. May the Supreme Devi be pleased by this." After praying thus, when Sachi was about to enter the fire, a terrifying loud sound like that of a thunderbolt was unexpectedly heard in the sky. Hearing that huge sound, Sachi saw in the sky a golden colored lion as tall as the Himalaya mountain. Seeing on that lion the great Devi, resembling the idol worshipped by her, Sachi, filled with joy, bowed to her. Hearing that sound, Tarakeya, the lord of the demons, followed the sound in the sky, and seeing the lion, struck it angrily on its head with the sword. Falling on the head of the lion, the sword shattered into 100 pieces. Then Gauri, with red, angry eyes, seeing the demon, struck him with the trident, by which he fell and split chest. Rising up again immediately, the demon disappeared and in a moment created a very large army in the sky. A great battle began between the armies of Bhavani and the demon. The crores and crores of divine motherly forces born out of the breath of Gauri fought with the army of the demon. The demon, observing the destruction of his army, created once again a very huge battalion, which was soon ruined by the forces of Gauri. Gauri, gauging the motherly forces to be stronger, the lord of the demons created a three-eyed Shiva who wielded a trident and bore the moon on his head. That Shiva started attacking Gauri with his raised trident. Seeing him and mistaking him to be the husband of Gauri, the motherly forces discarded the weapons. Then Gauri said thus: "He is not the Shiva, my husband. This Shiva is the creation of the demon. It is improper to shed the weapons while fighting with magical persons." Then Gauri remembered her husband Shankara to dispel the ignorance of the motherly forces. Shankara immediately appeared holding his trident along with his retinue. Seeing Shiva, the wielder of the Pinaka bow, the motherly forces resumed the battle, picking up the weapons. Then Brahma, gods, Yakshas, Gandharvas, Kinnaras, Nagas, Ganas, Apsaras, Siddhas, and Kimpurushas came to watch the fight between Gauri and Tarakeya. Then the demon and Gauri fought an extremely frightful war in which the demon created many times armies that were right away destroyed by the motherly forces. Then the demon Tarakeya hid himself within the universe created by him, knowing that Shankari fumed with anger, from which appeared the frightening nude Mahakali with dishevelled hair, wearing a garland of skulls and wielding a sword. Seeing her, Shankari said, "O Kali, quickly ruin the universe created by the demon." Listening to that, Kali in a moment shattered the 100 universes with her sword and swallowed the citizens. When the group of universes were thus destroyed, the demon holding a powerful weapon came, and when he was about to create an army to continue the war, Gauri put him on the ground and, stamping on his chest, severed his head with the trident. With his head cut off, the demon lost his life. Hearing the news about the death of the king of the demons, Brahma and others uttered slogans of victory, and Indra showered flowers. Brahma, Vishnu, and others sang hymns and with folded palms addressed her who was seated on the lion. O Bhavani, the powerful demon who was our enemy and harasser of the universe has been killed by you. O Maheshwari, O Maheshwari, while Vishnu or Shiva were unable to kill him, how could Indra and others be competent? By the killing of this wicked one, the world has been protected like a sun. Therefore, O great Devi, on the shore of the western sea, you will become famous as Jagadamba, universal mother, and worshipped. You will grant the wants of the people. Lauding her thus and bowing to her, the gods returned to their abodes. Then Indrani came to the place where the demon was killed, and bowed to the mother, and with folded palms said thus, O Gauri, O protector of the universe, O dispeller of the distress of the helpless, I bow to you. I, who was drowning in the waters of sorrow, have been saved by you. Saying thus, the beloved of Indra prostrated before the feet of the Devi. Then Gauri, who was happy with Saci, said with a smile, O Indrani, I am pleased with you. Ask for your desired boon. Listening to the words of the Devi, Saci bowed and said thus, O Devi, if you are happy with me, grant my desired boon. Just as you have protected me, save that person who is in deep trouble, who sings your 108 names. Grant me unswerving devotion to your lotus feet. Then the pleased Gauri spoke auspiciously to Saci, O Indrani, what you have asked for will be true forever. Go back to your abode. Saying thus, the Devi disappeared. O Himavan, I have thus narrated the supreme valorous story of Gauri, which absolves the sins of the listener. Worship that Gauri. Telling thus to Himavan the auspicious story of Gauri, Narada, permitted by Himavan, went away by the sky path. End of the 27th chapter of the MahatmyaKhandam of Sri Tripura Rahasyam. Chapter 28. After hearing the auspicious, glorious story of Gauri, Parasurama again inquired the great sage Dattatreya thus, O Lord, I do not feel satisfied hearing the wonderful glories of Gauri that have flowed out of your mouth. I am eager to hear about the 108 names of Gauri which Brihaspati told Saci. Please tell me that. Thus inquired by Parasurama, the compassionate great yogi, the son of sage Atri, disclosed the 108 names of Gauri. He said, O Parasurama, listen to the enchanting, wish-yielding and sin-absolving prayer containing the names of Gauri. The seer of this prayer is Angirasa. Its meter is Anushtup. The presiding Devi is Gauri. This should be recited to overcome difficulties. The 6 seed letters Ram, Hrim and the like are to be installed Nyasa in one's body, and after meditating on her form, this prayer has to be recited. She is seated on a lion. Her hue is dark green. She is shining with a silk garment. She is wielding the sword, the shield, the trident, and the club in her hands. She is decorated with the moon on her head. She has three eyes. She is the granter of wishes. Such a form of Gauri has to be meditated upon. Gauri, the Devi Gauri of golden hue. Gojanani, mother of speech or mother of knowledge. Vidya, the embodiment of knowledge. Shiva, auspicious divinity, the consort of Shiva. Devi, the effulgent Devi. Maheshwari, the most worshipful supreme ruler. Narayananuja, sister of Lord Narayana. Namrabhushana, decently decorated. Nuta Vaibhava, of laudable glory. Trinetra, three-eyed Devi. Trishikha, with three plaits, braids, who rules the three aspects of creation. Shambhu Shamshraya, who is under the care of Shiva. Shashibhushana, decorated with the digit of the moon. Shulahasta, who wields the trident. Shrutidhara, the supporter of Veda. Subhada, granter of auspiciousness. Shubharupini, embodiment of auspiciousness. Uma, the embodiment of Brahma Vidya, daughter of Himavan, the form of Om. Bhagavati, the knower of the past, the present, and the future of this universe. Ratri, Ratri, the night, extolled in Rigveda or Ratri Shukta. Somasuryagni Lochana, whose eyes are the moon, the sun, and the fire. Somasuryatma Tatanka, whose earrings are the moon and the sun. Somasurya Kuchadvai, whose two breasts are moon and the sun. Amba, the mother of the universe. Ambika, the mother controlling the triple powers of will, cognition, and action. Ambujadhara, the wielder of the lotus. See the Dhyana Sloka of Sri Lalita Sahasranama. Amburupa, the manifestation of water. Apyayani, the creator of joy. Sthira, the eternal one. Shiva Priya, the beloved of Shiva, who loves Shiva dearly. Shivankastha, who is seated on the left lap of Shiva. Shobhana, who is splendidly graceful. Shumbhanashini, the destroyer of the demon Shumbha. Khadgahasta, the wielder of the sword. Khaga, who traverses in the sky. Khetadhara, the wielder of the shield. Khacha Nivraktihi, whose form resembles the purity of the sky. Kausumbhachela, who wears a saffron garment. Kausumbha Priya, who likes the saffron flower Kesara of Kashmir. Kunda Nibhadvija, whose teeth are white like the jasmine bud. Kali, the manifestation of Kali. Kapalini, who holds a skull in her hand or who wears a garland of skulls. Krura, the force of destruction. Karavalakara, Karavalakara, the wielder of the sword. Kriya, the dynamic force of action. Kamya, coveted by the devotees for release from earthly bondage. Kumari, the virgin. Kanya Kumari, the destroyer of the wicked. Kutila, the tortuous, slyly towards the wicked. Kumaramba, the mother of Kumara, that is Subramanya. Kuleshwari, the ruler of the clans, Shaktas. Mridani, the consort of Mrida, the Sattva aspect of Paramashiva. Mrigashavakshi, with eyes of a young deer. Mridudeha, soft or tender bodied. Mrigapriya, who loves deers, antelopes. Mrikandu Pujita, who is worshipped by the sage Mrikandu. Madhvi Priya, who likes wine or who likes to be an introvert by drinking wine. Matri Ganedita, Matri Ganedita, who is praised by the Saptamatrikas, the collection of divine mothers. Matrika, the phonemes of the divine language. Madhavi, the manifestation of the consort of Krishna. Madhyan Manasa, with rapturous mind. Mandirekshana, with bewitching eyes. Modarupa, the embodiment of bliss. Modakari, who imparts bliss. Munidhyeya, meditated upon by sages. Manonmani, the transmuter of the mind into a superior state, a level below the 1,000-petaled lotus Sahasrara. Parvatastha, who dwells on the mountain. Parvapujya, who is worshipped on the 8th day, 14th day, full moon day, new moon day, and sun's transit day. Parama, who is the most high. Paramarthada, who grants liberation, moksha. Parantara, Paratpara, Paratpara, who is superior to Brahma, Vishnu, and Rudra, the transcendental. Paramarshamai, who is the reflection, Vimarsha, of the Paramashiva. Parinatakhila, who creates all existence. Pashisevya, who is worshipped by Yama, the Lord of Death. Pashupati Priya, the beloved of Pashupati Shiva. Pashu Vrishastuta, praised by both the dull and the eminent. Pashyanti, the witness of all, the second level of speech. Parachidrupa, Parachidrupa, the embodiment of the highest intelligence. Parivadahara, who words of ill repute. Para, the transcendent word. Sarvagya, the omniscient. Sarvarupa, the embodiment of the entire creation. Sa, the supreme Devi. Sampatti, who is in the form of prosperity. Sampadunnata, who has the highest wealth. Apannivarane, who destroys the danger of the devotees. Bhakta Sulabha, who is easily accessible to her devotee. Karunamai, who is full of compassion. Kalavati, the embodiment of all arts. Kalamala, Kalamala, who has as garland the 64 arts and crafts, or she from whom these emanate. Kala Kalita Vigraha, whose form embodies all the arts. Ganasevya, who is attained by the retinue of Shiva. Ganeshana, the ruler of the group of gods. Gatehe, the final goal for all. Gamanavarjita, who is fixed in the Bindu. Ishwari, the powerful ruler of the universe. Ishanadaita, the consort of Shiva. Shaktehe, the power in all. Shamita Pataka, Shamita Pataka, Shamita Pataka, the destroyer of sins. Pithaga, who is seated in the centers of powers. Shakti Pithas, 51 or 108 in number. Pithika Rupa, who manifests herself in the different energy centers within and without. Prisat Pujya, worshipped by the gods. Prabhamai, the effulgent. Mahamaya, the causer of stupendous delusion that influences even Brahma and others. Matangeshta, 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 who is benevolent to sage Matanga. Loka Loka, who is manifest as a seen and unseen creation. Shivangana, the lady of Shiva. Shivanama Japasakta, engrossed in chanting the numerous names of Shiva. Shiva Shaktaikya Rupine, Shiva Shaktaikya Rupine, the unified, identical, and equal principle with Shiva. These two names are not in the original text, added to make 108 names. O Parasurama, this is the rare prayer which I have declared to you. This beautiful prayer containing the 108 names of Gauri is like a strong boat for crossing the ocean of difficulties. The difficulties of those who recite this daily will stay away. Persons singing this with faith will obtain all their wants and in the end attain liberation. O Bhargava, take this to be the truth. Listening to Listening to the words of Narada, the wise Himavan determined to perform penance to obtain the blessings of Gauri, the lord of the mountains, accompanied by his wife. After bathing in the sacred river, sat on its bank and meditated as taught by the divine sage on the form of beautifully decorated Gauri seated on her lion. Then, after worshipping her with various food offerings, Himavan daily concentrated on her. While not in meditation, he repeated again and again the prayer. Eating only ripe leaves with restraint and silence and sleeping on bare ground, Himavan did penance for 12 years. Then Gauri, who was pleased, appeared before him in the same form of his meditation and addressed him in a dignified, thunder like voice. O Himavan, let me know what you are performing penance for. Enough of that harsh penance. I will grant you a good boon. Hearing that, Himavan prostrated before her and with folded hands praised her with the names contained therein. Then, placing the folded palms of his head, requested Gauri thus: O Devi, Gauri, beautiful to Lord Shiva, salutations to you. Please revive me, who is burnt by the defect of childlessness. Hearing Himavan, Gauri said to him thus: O Himavan, you have no chance to beget a male child, but by my grace you will undoubtedly get a daughter. Then Himavan bowed and said with folded hands thus: O Devi, the wise say that becoming a father to a girl will bring misery. If I am going to have only a daughter, then you become my daughter. I do not wish to have any other boon which you may like to give. Hearing Himavan, Gauri said thus: O Himavan, I shall not any time assume a physical form. I have granted you a daughter, and nothing more is possible. Saying thus, she disappeared immediately like a wish. Then Himavan decided to perform penance again and started the most severe penance possible only by great sages. 100 years he lived on water and another 100 on air. Then, after 200 years, he prepared a huge fire altar, and above that he tied 100 ropes to a banyan tree and tied his feet to them and dangled upside down, supportless, without eating and breathing, and continued his penance. His wife set a fire with wood in the altar below. Thus, after a year, he cut off one of the ropes and did so for 99 years. Then the fumes from the fire of his penance pervaded heaven. Distressed by the surrounding fume, Indra and other gods with fear went to Himavan. There, being unable to withstand the heat of the fire in the altar, which was getting intense by the fire of penance, the gods got back to a distance and reached Satyaloka. Going to the abode of Brahma, Indra, and other gods prostrated before him from a distance. Seeing the prostrated gods, Brahma, the creator, with a dignified voice addressed Indra thus: O Indra, rise along with the gods. Why have you come to me? Without fear, let me know. I will fulfill your wants. Listening to Brahma, Indra and the other gods rose, and with folded palms, Indra slowly said thus: O Lord of the universe, we are afraid. I will let you know the cause for our fear. On the earth, the famous Himavan, the lord of the mountains, is performing a great penance. We do not know what he wants. The fume emerging from his head is causing poignant fear to the gods. Our bodies are getting scorched by that fume which has spread over heaven. My throne in the heavenly assembly, Sudharma, is trembling. The insecure gods are not at all happy. For us who are in trouble, you are the only refuge. Hearing Indra, Brahma meditated and quickly opened his eyes and told Indra not to fear. Saying thus, Brahma proceeded along with the gods and reached the shore of the milky ocean, where Lord Vishnu, wielding the conch, the disc, and the mace, was reclining. Prostrating before Vishnu, the gods with folded hands praised him with Vedic hymns that extol his glory. Then Brahma, reaching near Vishnu, narrated about the penance of the Then Brahma reached near Vishnu, narrated about the penance of Himavan as told by the gods. Vishnu, hearing him, went along with the gods to the place where Himavan was performing severe penance. There he saw the sage like Himavan dangling by a single rope above the blazing altar of fire, who was glowing like a sun because of the brilliance acquired through penance, and also his wife who was serving him. Then Vishnu went near her and respectfully questioned her thus: Who are you? Why are you serving this person in this dense forest? Who is he? With what purpose is he performing such a harsh penance? Listening to the words of Vishnu, the wife of Himavan spoke sweetly thus: He is my husband Himavan, the lord of the mountains. He desires to have Devi Bhavani to be born as his daughter. Prohibited by the Devi, he has taken 200 years of penance by trying himself to 100 ropes and dangling on the fire. Each year he is cutting off one of the ropes. Now 99 years have passed, and in the 100th year, one more day is left. If Devi Gauri is not benevolent, then tomorrow morning he will cut off the remaining one rope and become ashes by offering his body to the fire. Then I will also offer my body to the fire and follow him. Then Vishnu, after consulting Brahma and others regarding the further course of action, meditated there itself on Gauri, and with great devotion praised Shiva. Salutation to you, the protector of the universe. Salutation to you, the embodiment of auspiciousness. Salutation to you, who are Gauri, Sarvani, the consort of Shiva. Praising her thus with many more hymns, Vishnu prostrated before her. Pleased by the prayers of Vishnu, Maheshwari, who was in her special form, spoke with love and dignity thus: O Narayana, why did you praise me? Earlier, Sri Tripura Sundari had said that you are my elder brother. Hence, let me know why you have remembered your sister. Hearing Gauri, Vishnu said with a smile thus: O Gauri, listen. Look at the danger the world is facing because of the extremely severe penance by Himavan. By fulfilling his desire, protect the universe, which is being consumed like a moth by the fire of the penance. By such an act of yours, the world and Indra and others will be saved. Also, look at Shankara, who is in penance without your physical presence. Long ago, Sri Tripura Sundari, in order to remain calm, created us, the Trinity, to do creation and so on. O sister, if you remain incorporeal, it would tantamount to disregarding the orders of Sri Tripura Sundari. Thus, I have narrated the reason for my remembering you. Further, it is for you to protect the moving and non moving creation in a manner best known to you. Hearing Vishnu and seeing the danger to the universe through the penance and respecting the orders of Sri Tripura Sundari, Gauri consented to Hari. Thus, let it be so. Then Hari and other gods bowed to Devi Gauri and with her permission proceeded to their abodes without worry. Then the incorporeal Gauri said with utmost dignity to the Lord of the Mountains, who was amidst the flame of penance, O Himavan, I am pleased with you. Look at me. I will grant your wish. Let me know that soon. Hearing those words, Himavan meditated for a while, thinking whether it was a dream or reality, and then opened his eyes and looked all around and did not see anything. As he was about to take it as a dream, Gauri repeated her utterances. Listening to that auspicious voice of Gauri, who was incorporeal, Himavan was very happy and bowed to the direction of that voice. Then, after lauding her in various ways, with his heart filled with devotion, Himavan sought from the great Devi his desired boon. O Gauri, if you are pleased with me, and if my penance is successful, you should take birth as my daughter. I have a great desire to see you as an infant and caress you with love while seeing you while seeing your innocent sport. Then taking Mahadeva as my son-in-law and worshipping both of you, I will attain bliss, being assured of happiness here and hereafter. This is my request. Please fulfill my need. End of the 28th chapter of the Mahatmya Khandam of Sri Tripura Rahasyam.